Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the 7th annual Voices for Justice. We are so excited to have all of you with us, whether you're on the West Coast, the East Coast, anywhere in between, or way over in Hawaii. We're just excited you're with us. We are going to start the show in just a second, but before we get going, we need to thank our sponsors. We could not do this work without our sponsors. Sean Riddell, PC, Maloney Lauersdorf, Reiner PC are our significant sponsors who are our champions. We literally couldn't do this work without them. Our partner sponsors, Aaron Olson PC, and in memory of Deanna Lynn Bodin, we are so grateful for your support. Our friend sponsor, Triad Strategies, and our online auction sponsor, Blackout Girl. We could not be here today, but more importantly, we couldn't do our work without you. So thank you. So what is Voices for Justice? Why are we here today? Every year we pause and we celebrate the work that's been done so far and we look forward. What are we going to do in the year ahead? How can we honor the work? How can we honor survivors? That's what we're going to do today, and we're going to do it with your help. There's going to be a lot of energy. You're going to meet some of the other energy in just a moment, and later we're going to hear from our keynote, Keith Maskell. I am so excited to share with you energy around Keith, his work, all he does for survivors in this country, but that's later. First, we need to hear, why does NCVLI exist? And I'm not the one to share that with you. We're going to hear from staff. The National Crime Victim Law Institute is a nonprofit based at Lewis and Clark Law School in Portland, Oregon. We work across the country to uplift victims' voices and ensure their rights. We are a small but fierce team of lawyers, educators, advocates, and survivors. Our staff are innovative and ambitious. They represent some of the most creative legal minds in the country, and they use their talents to carry forward the work. So what is the work? Why do we do what we do?
NCVLI exists to ensure that everyone knows about and asks for victims' rights.
NCVLI exists to connect survivors with knowledgeable victims' rights lawyers.
NCVLI exists to educate lawyers and advocates on the how-to of protecting victims' rights.
NCVLI exists to advocate for victims' rights in every jurisdiction.
NCVLI exists to ensure the justice system recognizes and enforces the rights of crime victims in every case.
NCVLI exists to support victims of crime and their families.
So you've had a chance to meet briefly some of our staff, and now I want to introduce you to our fundraising champion. Amanda Valley. Amanda is a benefit auctioneer specialist, and Amanda is here to help us with all the energy for tonight as we work to support victims.
That's right, Meg. Thank you so much. I am thrilled to be here tonight. How is everyone doing? I hope you are already having a fabulous time from your favorite chair, or maybe you're with an NCVLI buddy. You know, friends, giving tonight is going to be all done virtually, and it feels just as good as doing it in person. It just looks a little bit different. Now, in order to give a gift, head up to the top of the page, and you're going to select Donate, or you can use your phone and text NCVLI to 366-283. It's just that simple. Just put in whatever amount you wish to give. Don't forget that there is an online auction. You can also go to the top of the page and select online auction and see all of the fabulous offerings that we've got, and you can bid on those until Sunday, September the 26th at 11:30 p.m. Now, do you need some support? I mean, we all could use a little, right? But I'm talking about technical support tonight for the auction. You're just going to email ncvli@lclark.edu and let somebody know that you need some help. Again, that's ncvli@lclark.edu. We can't help you with parenting advice. We can't help you get rid of those robocalls about your warranty being extended, but we can help you with tonight's auction. You know, and here's something else that you need to remember. There's some rules for tonight. Donate a lot, donate often, and donate generously. Please take some selfies of yourself, or ussies if you'd like, of enjoying tonight's program. You can use the hashtag NCVLI or Voices for Justice or Victims' Rights to share your pictures of enjoying this evening. And we're going to have a great time. So we really do want to see your pics.
We are definitely going to have a good time, and we want to see your pics because we want to have you on social media a lot talking about this event and talking about victims' rights. We're going to start by making sure you all know a little bit more about NCVLI, right? We were founded, many of you know this, we were founded back in 2000. So we've just finished our 20th anniversary year,
crazy.
Which is
That's
absolutely
wild.
amazing. When we started, we were even smaller and we had an idea. Could we do the work? Well, we have been doing the work. And so as we moved into our 20th year, in 2019, our board of directors said, you know what? We need to pause. We need to do the daily work and pause and think, how can we do even better in the community? So we asked the community, we asked you, what can we do better for you and with you? What are we doing well that we need to keep doing? But really, how can we get even better so that we're serving more victims and we're serving those victims in a better way, the way they need us to serve them? So we sought lots of input, questionnaires, conversation, and then this last year, board and staff got together regularly, analyzed it, analyzed all the input, visioned things together, and planned forward. What we learned and where we're going, well, that's not for me to share right now. That's for our board president to share, so I'm going to invite Sean Riddell to share with us the strategic plan.
Hi there, my name is Sean Riddell, and I am currently serving as the president of the board of directors for the NCVLI. Last year was our 20-year anniversary. We took time to assess what we accomplished, the current state of victims' rights, and how we could help shape victims' rights and be relevant in the future. Today we're going to take the opportunity to introduce you all to our mission, vision, and values. NCVLI actively promotes comprehensive and enforceable legal rights for crime victims and access to knowledgeable attorneys to help protect those rights in every case through victim-centered legal advocacy, education, and resources. We envision a justice system in which every crime victim has comprehensive and meaningful legal rights, access to a trained victims' rights attorney at no cost, and rights that are recognized and enforced. Our values are empowerment, dignity, equity, collaboration, and innovation. I invite all of you to go to our website and click on our equity statement and our values link. What is new and what is changing? With this strategic plan, we are committed to continuing our amicus work, and partnering with others in direct representation of cases that have strategic national importance for victims' rights. We are also recommitting to our public policy work. While we've always worked in the public policy arena, we plan on sharing and drafting model rules on victims' rights and ensuring that victims' rights is at the center of any criminal justice policy discussion. What is staying the same is our core efforts: legal technical assistance, amicus work, training, resource sharing, and public policy. What are our hopes for the future? First, ensuring that every victim has direct representation through our partnerships and growing our membership in the National Alliance of Victims' Rights Attorneys and Advocates. Second, that NCVLI continues to be the national go-to resource for victim rights. And finally, when anyone thinks of the criminal justice system, their first thought is, how is the victim?
Thank you, Sean. And I want to pause on that last statement. How is the victim? That's our mission, right? In a nutshell. Sean shared all of the vocabulary we worked on, really grounded it in our values. And when we keep turning back to it, how is the victim? We are very excited that we have a strategic plan now that allows us to continue the work and enhance the work. It's going to help us identify ways to serve more survivors, to serve more survivors across this country where they are and in the way they need us to. It's all about increasing access to rights, increasing access to more of the community to the rights they deserve so that every victim has the access. And tonight, it's really about how you're making the difference in the increasing that access, right? So you might read NCVLI's financial statements. I know some of you do, and I know there's some of our staff who read them very regularly. Some of you might not, though. But either way, I want to share with you how we're funded, right? We are funded a lot by grants, and we are so grateful for those grants. The funders at the agencies that fund us are amazing. And grants are restrictive. They are usually limited by geography, certain type of crime, a certain part of the justice system. But survivors, they don't come in a little box. They don't come with those same boundaries around them. They have needs, and we need to be able to respond regardless of whether they fit in a specific box. So I want to give you an example. I want to give you an example of how NCVLI was trying to make sure we didn't have to fit a survivor in a box. So recently, we were contacted by a lawyer in New York, a civil lawyer. This lawyer, though, was doing amazing work. They were trying to help a survivor in the criminal case, way outside of their area of expertise, but they saw this survivor in need. And let me tell you a little bit about the survivor. It was a child, a minor victim of sex crimes, right? So some of the most vulnerable folks in our country are children, and this minor victim needed help, not just with the civil that the lawyer had expertise in, but also on the criminal side, because what was becoming really clear, even early in the case, was that this survivor was going to need an interpreter, and because of the trauma being endured and that had been endured, they were absolutely going to need a support person at every hearing. Well, here's the thing. That doesn't always happen. Interpreters for survivors aren't always provided. Support persons are sometimes told to stay outside the courtroom. There was a hearing coming up in just a couple of days, and the request came in. It didn't fall within one of our grants, not squarely, not easily. So we had this choice: decline the request, sorry, we can't help you, or go through all the hurdles to try and make it fit in a box so that we could put it in under one of the grants. Or we could use our resources and say, we're here to help. What can we do? We chose to help, but the only way we could make that choice in time was because of you. So with the short deadline looming, NCVLI jumped into action. We compiled law and resources and arguments. We put everything together about why victims have rights even pre-charging, why it's so critical that the justice system avoid re-victimizing children, why privacy matters, all of it. We put it together, we provided it to the lawyer, we consulted along the way, all to make sure this child had every protection the law could afford. So in short, we didn't have to do all of the maneuvering to fit it in a grant because of you. Your dollars helped a child victim of a sexual crime in New York. It's as simple as that. And so we're asking you to keep giving. We do not want to have to flinch when we get a request. We want to be able to say, we are here, how can we help you?
You know, I don't have a legal background. I'm a fundraiser. So when I hear stories like this about groups having to make choices about whether or not they can help a child that a crime has been committed against, it really brings it home for me. These are not all simple, wrapped up in an hour crime procedurals that you see on television. These are real choices that have to be made. And for NCVLI to have the power to make those choices because of the critical funds that you are going to help with tonight, that is very powerful for me to hear. So I just want to say thank you to NCVLI for making this possible. It really, you don't know who you know in your circle who may have benefited from NCVLI and the work that they do. So now it's time. It's time, my friends. This is the time to show your commitment to NCVLI and the good work that they do by making a 100% tax-deductible gift. This is the time to show your commitment not just to NCVLI, but to justice for crime victims everywhere. So it's really simple to do. You can go to the top of the page and select the Donate tab, or you can text us, NCVLI, that's going to be texted to 366-283. I'll say it again, 366-283. You're going to text NCVLI to that number, and then you'll get to put in whatever amount is on your heart tonight. Now, for our special appeal, we're going to start at our first formal level, which is $2,500. Meg, can you give us an idea of the impact that this generous gift can have on NCVLI and its constituents?
Yes, and I know a lot of you who are online tonight. I know a lot of you watching, and you might be taking a deep breath. $2,500, oh my gosh, right? We're asking you to stretch because we need you to stretch. So let me give you an example, right? We work with lawyers all across the country. We work with lawyers analyzing trial level cases, but also appellate level cases. And what do I mean by that? So every day in this country, and what you see on Law and Order, right, is trial. But if we want to have an impact on tomorrow's victim, not just today's victim, but we want to make sure that trial courts can't violate victims' rights with impunity, that we can make the world better tomorrow, we have to be able to get to the appellate courts, really the boss of the lower court, right? So we have to get to the boss, just like you would in your own job. So we work all the time on how can we get to an appellate court? How do we do this? This is really different than trial level practice, which moves super fast and we're thinking about what's happening tomorrow. This takes a lot more time and it takes a lot more resources. We have to be able to think deeply so that we can impact the law for tomorrow. So I'm going to give you a concrete example now, because we just did this. We just did this in a case where a defendant was seeking access to the victim's home in order to conduct what's called discovery, right? Here's the thing. The defendant wanted to, picture this, go into the home personally, not just through counsel, personally, be back in the home of the victim, walking through it, being in the space where that survivor sleeps, where their family sleeps, where they eat. Think about what that feels like for them to be there. They wanted to take pictures. Just really feel this. Not only does it feel horrible, but let me tell you, the law doesn't require it, and victims' rights can stop it. But we had a lawyer working on the issue who needed assistance because the trial court had said, yes, defendant can go in. That's what the trial court said. And so to get to the appellate court, we had to research, draft arguments, moot the arguments, fight for this survivor. And we did it alongside the lawyer on the ground, and it took us $2,500. We just did the math. I just checked the math on this, and yes, I can do math, right? We had to do this work so that this survivor was protected, but also we got an appellate decision that says, you know what? Defendants can't just go back into your house after they've hurt you there. But it takes $2,500. I know it's a stretch, but we need you to think about the law for tomorrow and consider giving.
That $2,500, you just heard it now. It makes such a difference in this work. Can you imagine being the victim of that crime and having the defendant come into your home and knowing that $2,500 prevented that? That's extremely powerful. All right, folks, while you're considering all the levels of giving, we're gonna move on to the $1,000 level. And I'm very excited about this level tonight because we have a match. We are going to be able to match the first 5 gifts at the $1,000 level thanks to the generosity of Caitlin Egek. She is going to match your first 5 $1,000 gifts, making that $1,000 $2,000. Thank you so much, Caitlin. I think we should get a little round of applause for that. This is such a generous gift for NCVLI, Meg. It's really fabulous.
Well, first, I'm just gonna echo the thanks. You probably saw me doing a little micro clap, but I wanna like do a dance right now, right? If only the music from the pre-show was back on, I'd be doing a dance. Caitlin, thank you. And not only does this match mean your 1,000 becomes 2,000, but do the bigger math. We're gonna get to $10,000 if you donate now. We need you to donate, right? So $1,000, you might be thinking, well, Meg, you just told a story about $2,500. What does 1,000 do? It is the core work that we do. $1,000 is essentially what it takes us to do technical assistance on a daily basis. Because every day, a lawyer calls from somewhere in this country, or an advocate calls or emails. I'm gonna guess most of the NCVLI lawyers right now, if they checked their email, or if our admin checked the NCVLI email, we'd have a TA request right now that says, my client has a right and it's about to be violated. Oh my gosh, I have a hearing in a day or 2 days, right? And we jump into action. The average cost of doing that, jumping into action, is $1,000. A recent example, just a recent example, we got a call from Michigan. And in Michigan, the victims have rights. And we actually have lawyers ready to roll for victims in Michigan with the rights. And a trial judge said to the victim's attorney, ooh, you can't speak in court. You can't speak in court on behalf of your client. I mean, just think about that. It goes antithetical to everything we know about the court system. And yet this is what was happening. And so that lawyer and we said, not on our watch. We jumped in, we provided technical assistance, we researched, we pulled arguments. We got the attorney back in court on behalf of the victim. And when you go back and you look, it took us $1,000 to do that. We need you to donate $1,000 tonight.
And we want to take advantage of this incredible match, folks. Please, $1,000 goes such a long way. And remember, you can donate as often as you wish. So if you give it $1,000 and feel moved to give again, why not do it again? It feels so good to give virtually, and it feels so good to give to these folks who need it so that we can advocate for their rights. All right, folks. Thank you again for all of your consideration. Oh, and now it looks like we just got a gift in at the $1,000 level from Laura Dunn. Thank you, Laura. You just doubled your impact. That $1,000 just became $2,000. Thanks so much to Caitlin and her match. That's fabulous. Please consider being just like our friend Laura and getting that $1,000 gift in so that we can make it $2,000 right away. And we'll recognize all of you. I got no plans. I will stand here tonight and say every name if I have to. So let's get those donations in, folks. Thank you so much, Laura. We really appreciate you. Now, have you ever wondered how other lawyers benefit from NCVLI assistance? Well, let's hear from them now and about the invaluable services that NCVLI offers.
So I am new to the victims' rights arena. So it's very helpful to me to get the technical assistance from NCVLI. They assisted me in going through each of the rights to see which would apply to my particular case, and analyzing those. And then they helped to come up basically with a strategy on how to enforce the victim's rights within this particular context and case. We did strategizing, they provided sample motions, provided the law, relevant case law.
NCVLI is great because most likely if it's happening in your state, it's probably happened somewhere else. If it hasn't happened somewhere else, it may have happened in a different area of law. So being able to reach out to have this network of individuals who have been practicing criminal law, but who have also done other things throughout the criminal justice process, it's been so beneficial to be able to have those resources to fall back on to see what alternative remedies exist and how to get those accomplished.
NCVLI's help was so important and so valuable to what we were about to do. Courts are hesitant to overrule their precedent, and that's exactly what we were going into this asking the Arizona Supreme Court to reevaluate these cases, to review these cases, and just to overrule these cases based on victims' rights. So the help that I got from NCVLI, I couldn't have done this. We couldn't have had the success that we had in this case without the technical assistance from NCVLI and the assistance they gave me in developing not only the arguments for our initial petition for review, but our supplemental briefing, and then coming into oral argument, moot courts that we did virtually with NCVLI staff. We got our Arizona Supreme Court opinion, and they did overrule their pre-victims' rights cases and held that restitution cannot be capped in a plea agreement without the consent of the victim.
To work with them actually because they're brilliant and provide a lot of different perspectives, right? Because they have been working on this for so long and around the country. So we started off, having like a meeting with them and talking through what our arguments were going to be. And they would give us, some ideas. So like, well, have you considered this? Have you considered this? Once we wrote our application for leave to appeal with the brief, which, is like a big brief, all sorts of stuff. They even provided some editing assistance. And once it was filed, this was the biggest thing and something that was really special. I think in this case, they even filed a motion to file an amicus brief. So they filed a brief in support of our argument in the Michigan Court of Appeals as well. And that was such a cool experience, and it was really nice to have that supporting time.
In this case, the victim, remember, was a minor, was facing a situation where she was going to have to be alone in a courtroom with the defendant and other courtroom personnel, and she was going to be required to testify about something really traumatic, right? Without having the support person there. Technical assistance was critical here because we're dealing with a whole new set of protocols and rules due to COVID, right? There are a lot of exceptions, and courts are doing all sorts of things. There's no playbook. And we were also under a time crunch. The judge denied the victim's request to a support person, and she was due to testify that same week. So it was very time sensitive. And the best option I had was to reach out to our national experts at the National Crime Victim Law Institute and seek their guidance and input. I was able to connect with the NCVLI team right away, and they helped us with the arguments. They helped us provide ideas on how to most effectively approach this issue and address this victim's rights violation. And thanks to their guidance, the judge actually changed the ruling in this case and allowed the victim to have the support person while she testified.
I so love hearing from our partners because I want to turn around and say, you're amazing, just as they were praising the colleagues that I get to work with. Hearing the impact, sometimes we send technical assistance out into the world and we don't know whether we helped or not. And so hearing partners share very concretely how we helped, it's absolutely amazing. And I hope you felt that. Those were lawyers from numerous states talking about how they couldn't do the work without us, which actually means they can't do the work without you.
And what's really exciting is that during the time that we were watching that video, we've been able to secure even more help for more lawyers in the future, because I've been keeping an eye on our giving screen. You know, just to give you a little glimpse behind the curtain, I'm looking at a giving screen at the same time that I'm looking at you, and I can tell you right now that Chris Wilson and Julie Hester just joined us at the $1,000 level. Thank you, Chris and Julie. We are so appreciative. What this means, folks, is we are now only 2 gifts away from reaching our match potential at the $1,000 level. We need you to level up. We need those 2 final $1,000 gifts so that we can reach this match potential. And hey, if you want to give another $1,000 after that, that's okay too. We want to make sure that we get these folks the technical support that they need, that they get the lawyers that they need, and we want to be there for them. So your every bit of funding is critical. It counts. Thank you so much, Chris and Julie. We are so glad to have you among the ranks at the $1,000 level.
I am just going to echo the gratitude for Laura, for Chris, for Julie, and for Caitlin. And I don't want to leave the $2,000 on the table, right? We have a match. Please consider digging deep. Maybe it's a combo gift with other people in your community. You can give $500, someone else can, but you can commit to the $1,000 tonight. Please think about it.
That's a great idea. Are you watching this with your NCVLI best bud? Just turn to them and say, let's split this up, man. Let's do this thing together. We will be happy to say both of your names, please.
So one of the things is, I know, because when I first entered this work, I felt this too, that, oh, what is technical assistance? That sounds so sterile. And we've just gotten to hear from our partners, but sometimes you want to hear from a survivor, right? You want to hear, okay, NCVLI helped the lawyer, but how did the lawyer help the victim? Or NCVLI helped the advocate, how did it help the victim? Well, later, we're going to get to hear from Keith Maskell. I already previewed a little bit, but Keith is going to share a performance later, and you will have no doubt that fighting for space for survivor voice is not an option. We are ensuring that we are here is absolutely not an option either. You need to ensure that we are here to fight for survivor voice. And Keith, when we get there, is absolutely going to convince you of this, because we're going to hear what it feels like when there isn't space for voice and the pain of that.
I felt really privileged that I got to get a preview of what he's going to say tonight. And I will tell you, it is life-changing. It's really powerful. Now, it's time to cheer or maybe chat your encouragement at our $500 level. Keep those $1,000 gifts coming in, please. Or you can donate at the $500 level now, and you can join such NCVLI luminaries as Stephen Twist and John Gillis. Thank you so much, both of you, for your generosity. Meg, NCVLI can do so much with a $500 gift.
So $500, again, all these amounts matter, but I want to give you an example of what Steve and John are helping ensure that we can do and what you can help ensure that we can do. We can use $500 to enhance our pro bono pairing portal. So you might be wondering, what is that? Well, it is an incredibly exciting part of our strategic visioning and the future of doing this work. We have created I'm going to give a shout out to a staff member, Joshua Medina, who has really been visioning this for us, as well as folks who visioned it before, including Amy Liu and Sarah Leclerc, who led NAVRA before. We've been envisioning, how do we more quickly pair a survivor in need with a lawyer who's willing to volunteer their services? And through that visioning, we have created a pro bono pairing portal. $500 is what it takes for us to get a volunteer lawyer enrolled, trained, and pair them with a lawyer in need. Think about that. $500, we can get a survivor a lawyer who has access to our trainings, which means they have access to and I know there's a couple of my colleagues that don't like me to say this, but 75 years of brain power experience on the legal team, 75 years of brain power experience in the victims' rights field will be standing with a lawyer who enrolls in this pro bono pairing portal, and we'll be serving that survivor. And all it takes is $500.
That's an incredibly meaningful impact. $500 is all it takes to match these people up. That's such a great investment. And now, I think we've had some amazing and wonderful displays of generosity here tonight. Please keep them coming. We need those $1,000 gifts. Oh, it looks like we have had some more gifting just in the time that we've been sitting here. Oh yeah, we've got lots of folks that we're going to get to talk about in just a moment because we are now headed to our $250 level. Keep those $500 and $1,000 gifts coming in because remember, we're only 2 away from our match at the $1,000 level. But to entice even more generosity tonight, we are having an incentive drawing at the $250 level. So one lucky donor is going to be drawn at random to receive our gift of the NCVLI VIP box. Now, the little treasure chest is very cute, but it is not included because it's Jeremy's and he'll be mad if we give it away. So it's the stuff in the box. But you can ask him where he got it and you can have your own little treasure chest. Now this package includes an NCVLI tumbler, a keychain, a notepad, I believe it's a sticky notepad if that ups the ante for you, a pen, a face mask, and some lip balm because your lips are going to get a little dry out underneath that mask. So show up for justice tonight and donate $250. You can join your NCVLI best buds, Jennifer Riley, Joan Cray, and Carol Hepburn, who have all given at this level already. Thank you all so much. Now the 3 of you are in the incentive drawing. Meg, tell us what $250 can do in the fight for crime victims.
Well, first, I want to just do the Vanna moment too,
Oh,
right? Like that's actually been a dream since I was a child. So this is very exciting for me. I'm a lawyer and now I get to be a lawyer and, which is exciting to me.
A slashy lawyer slash model.
Yeah, exactly. So many of you, again, 250 might be exactly in your range. If it's just over your range, I'm gonna ask you to still give it. And here's why, right? What can we do with $250, right? We routinely host meetings with advocates and lawyers all across the country. We do some monthly, we host a litigation call every month, and quarterly, we host public policy calls. We host them to figure out what's happening on the ground in each jurisdiction. How can we be of service? We do not want to be a national organization that swoops in and does something that isn't going to benefit the community. So we host these calls regularly. We meet with the community. We ask, how can we help you? Just last month, well, it's probably now, if I'm fully transparent, 45 days, right? In just that period of time, we hosted calls in California, New Mexico, Wisconsin, North Carolina, and more. We were in those jurisdictions because we heard there was need. We wanted to be there so that we can proactively help. We do not want to wait for the call from the person who has a hearing tomorrow. We want to be working on law in advance. We want to be hearing from the community about how we can help in advance. $250 helps ensure that we are not waiting, we are there in advance. So help us. Help us not wait for the emergency call, but to hear from the community first and make the law better in advance.
You know, that was amazing what you just said, and it was so good that we had numerous gifts at the $250 level, and I'm gonna ask, because the NCVLI staff their fingers are flying on the keyboard trying to get them all on here, and if they would like to go to the thermometer screen, then I will read some of the $250 folks off of there that maybe we've missed. Oregon Attorney General Ellen Rosenblum at $250. Thank you so much. That is incredible. David Black gives at $250. Jennifer Diaz says yes at $250. Barbara Long at $250. Andrew Laurensdorf. We also have Faith Morris. Carol Hepburn. Oh, we mentioned Carol earlier. Yeah, thanks again, Carol. We really appreciate you because we said your name twice. And also, a sponsor who's already given money tonight, Sean Riddell and Aaron Stacy Greenewald, or Greenewald, one of those ways is probably right. They give again at $250. See, Sean is doing it right. He's donating often, and he's donating generously. It also looks like Leslie James gives twice at $500. Thank you, Leslie. We really appreciate you. This is fabulous, folks. Be the change you wish to see in the world with this meaningful gift. Please express your gratitude to our donors in the chat, everybody. Woot! I'm going to express it right now. And please keep those $250 gifts coming. We're going to find out who our lucky donor is. It might be John Fleischman, who just gave it $250. Thank you so much, John. But while we're collecting more $250 gifts, we're going to move on to our $100 level. And you know who we've got joining us there right now? Adrian Lee Brown, Laura Dunn, again, giving again tonight at the $100 level. Thank you. Rimla Parthasarathe, Susan Brexton, and Dae Ho Kim. This is such a critical level for the funding of NCVLI, and we are so grateful. Thank you. Meg, tell us more about how the impact of donations of any size helps NCVLI.
So every day, we receive emails and calls, as I've mentioned. Sometimes they're from the lawyer and the advocate, and I've already shared with you what we can do with them. But sometimes we're receiving them directly from survivors.
Oh, yeah.
And we may not be the right people to directly serve them. We know our skill set. We know what we're good at. And so our job in those moments is to help them get to someone who can serve them more directly. We spend time making sure that our website has resources on it. In fact, one of our lawyers, Rebecca Khalil, just today was like, oh my gosh, we have to update some pieces of our website. We can't always do that because staffing is tight, funding is tight. But Becca said, we have to. Right? So we were able to do that today, but it was hard. It was hard to make sure our website was up to date and that a survivor who called could get the resources they need. It's a challenge when the emails come in and we have to find the right referral for a victim. In order for us to provide those responses, make sure our website is up to date with resources, make sure that we are triaging and getting survivors to the right partners in the country. It is not always about being the person that does the work, but it is absolutely always about being ready to support a survivor to make sure they get to the right person. And that's what any donation helps us do. Every donation helps us make sure that either we can help or we can get them to someone who can help. And that's what this is all about, serving our community by partnering and collaborating and making sure survivors have resources.
That's really powerful. And Allison Wilkinson is joining us at the $100 level. And Ashley Vaughn is joining us with a gift of $250 because they hear what we're saying, that we need these funds to help folks out, not just, it can be the reaching out, it can be the person who needs it, or the lawyer, or the victim, or the survivor. But, it's also the person who has to do all the work on the back end, too. That doesn't happen magically. Kathy Katie gets it. She just gave $250. She's also going to be in the running for this fabulous incentive gift. Way to go, Kathy. We really appreciate it. I am so excited, Meg, to see all of the generosity that is pouring in tonight. Keep it coming, folks. We still need those last two $1,000 gifts. I'd love to be able to see those come in before we end the live fundraising program tonight. We are so close. Now, at the final level, I'm going to ask you to join Leslie James, Christina Stevenson, Catherine Harper Lee, Laura Gillen, Linda Tran, Ellen Dully, and Dylan Morgan, and Rosemary Brewer. Hey, that's my maiden name. Rosemary, are we related? And Leslie James also gave $500 twice. I mean, it's amazing. This is our last giving level tonight at $50. Meg, truly every dollar counts when it comes to fighting for the victims of crime.
It absolutely does. I already shared with you, right? We are funded by grants. Those are restrictive. We need $1 through the door so that we don't have to flinch. So whether you give $5, $50, $5,000. It absolutely all adds up. And the more unrestricted, meaning dollars from you that say we can help any survivor in need, the more of those dollars we have, the more we're able to be there when the call comes in. So it's absolutely critical. It doesn't matter any dollar amount. I know that there are some students even watching tonight, and I know your budgets are tight. I ask that you even consider, is there $5? Could you give?
And you know, technically it's been 21 years, but you mentioned earlier that 20 years kind of was a demarcation point for this strategic plan, that you were thinking about how you could do things and how you could do it better and what benchmarks you want to hit. A $20 gift for you to think about each year that NCVLI has been around. That's incredibly meaningful. And I know a lot of you, Sherry Rodriguez just gave. Thank you so much, Sherry. That's amazing. We're so appreciative of you. Thank you so much. Anybody else, please, now is the time. We want to see those gifts come in. Let's take a look and see who we've got. We've got Helene Davis, who's given a gift. Thank you, Helene. Tony Struts. Oh my gosh, I love that last name. I'm going to strut on over here and say, thanks, Tony. Antoinette Bonsignor. Oh, what a beautiful name. I hope that I did it at least partial justice in saying it just now. Hey, Rachel Salray, thank you so much. If you go into bid online on any of our auction items, you're going to recognize that name. Because that's a lady who knows what she wants.
Yes, yes.
So thank you so much. We are so grateful. And Meg, I think it's time for us to reveal who is the winner of our incentive drawing for the $250 level. Now remember, this lucky donor will receive not the treasure chest, because Jeremy will get mad. He's mad already that I've even said that. Okay, so it's the tumbler, it's the keychain, it's the pen, the notepad, the face mask, and the lip balm. Meg, would you please do the honors and let us know who won our incentive prize tonight?
David Black won.
Woo!
Thank you, David. Thank you.
David. Oh, you got the virtual confetti.
So appreciate you donating, David. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We are so excited. You know, another option that you have for giving and for supporting NCVLI is a monthly gift. You can do that by heading over to ncvli.org. You can set up a monthly gift. It comes straight off of your credit card. It comes straight out of your bank account. It's so easy to do. And you are able to do that very quickly and easily. Now, Meg, tonight we are hearing from an incredible keynote speaker who has a very powerful message.
Yes, and I've mentioned Keith a couple of times, so we're there. I am so excited for this part of the program. Keith is an inspiration. He is someone who has helped me after 20 years in this field decide I'm staying, right? Just from seeing his performance, because he's about making sure that survivors have voices. Keith Maskell is an actor, producer, mental health advocate, sneakerhead, and founder of the Triggered Project. I encourage you to go learn more about the Triggered Project, but it uses art to express and liberate trauma stories of the many men and boys whose stories have not been told, and they deserve to be told and appreciated. As a survivor of sexual abuse, Keith hopes to help end the stigma that surrounds mental health and Black and brown men talking about being abused. So I'm very excited to share with you Keith and his performance tonight. I also want folks to know that this is a powerful, moving moment. So we have many survivors watching tonight. So if you need to, start thinking about a little bit of self-care as we watch this.
Good evening. My name is Keith Maskell, and I am an actor, mental health advocate, and survivor of sexual abuse, and the founder of the Triggered Project. And I am so happy and honored to be here with all of you tonight. Thank you so much to National Crime Victim Law Institute for having me, for seeking me out and acknowledging my work and asking me to be here for this incredible event. Let me just tell you really quickly about the Triggered Project. We are shattering the silence and nurturing the healing of Black and brown male survivors of abuse with the use of art. I have a one-man show called Triggered Life, where you'll be hearing an excerpt from in a couple of minutes. I also have a podcast with my wife called Living a Triggered Life, where we're talking about what it's like to be in a relationship and be triggered. And for me, being a survivor in a relationship. And we also do workshops for young people and also men. And I do an inner monologue sneaker art project that I've done in Boston, that I've done in Portland, where we're leading young people and men through the monologue process with hopes that they will redefine their definitions of manhood, that they'll redefine their narratives. And the process has been absolutely amazing. We worked with VOA Portland a couple of months ago, and that was just a wonderful time. So that is some of the work that I do. But right now, I'm going to share with you an excerpt from my one-man show, Triggered Life, where I'm telling my story. But I also play another character who represents for Black and brown survivors who can't and haven't spoken. And I think that's one thing to keep in mind as well, is that there's certain times where us as survivors that we just can't speak. It's not the fact that we don't want to speak, but that we can't speak. And so that's why it's so important, that Nclvi is doing the work that they're doing. The advocating is so important because it's bringing voice and helping with the voiceless. So I will give you an excerpt from Triggered Life. My mind has been through many battlefields. And most of the time I come out feeling ashamed, anguished, down on myself, creating a canvas drenched in dark colors. What did I do so wrong? I know I didn't do anything wrong, but I struggle to say that. As a man, my quiet and loud moments are always a struggle. Do I have to look into the sun to burn yesterday's pain? Do I have to summon the past to talk to the future? These waves of emotion move me off center, move me away from where I want to be. And sometimes I'm at home laughing louder than I should. Yeah, I know how to laugh. But somehow I sound different. Can you hear it? The sound, that is. That's the sound of painful silence. So I speak to my abuser. You changed me from the inside, you changed me from the inside. You gave me anguish with loving hands, sprinkled with what I thought I needed. Yeah, my language changes with my emotion when my heart has been through many battlefields before 6 in the morning and I wake up ashamed of the sunrise. I don't look to you for salvation. I create a space and fly away from it all. But you pull me back in. And I find myself colder and in the abnormal universe. So I'm confronting you now in front of everyone. I just wanted to be held and understood. I just wanted the right touch, but it changed. and I try. I try to face it every day. I try to get rid of it using my mind, my intellect, the wisdom that my mom Connie gave me. But secrets have a way of creating their own climate and conditions. Rain, storm, fog. I believe it will all go away. I believe it will all go away by morning. I gotta believe it. I gotta believe it. I gotta believe there's a River Jordan for me, a place to lay my burden down. Every day I get tired of facing it. And one step ahead of the shadow. I call it a shadow because it takes light from me. Changes my weather. Changes me. I believe it will all go away. I believe it will all go away by morning. I gotta believe it. I gotta believe it. One step ahead. But every day is different. And some days I don't have the energy to keep running. I know I'm not supposed to run, but it's what I do. A man's not supposed to have to deal with this problem, so why not run from it? I get consumed by the shadow. I get consumed to the point that everything breaks down. And what I feel to be real, I feel like my manhood disappears. Thank you. Let's all take a deep breath together. Breathe in. And out. Let's do one more. Let's breathe in. And out. One last time. Let's breathe in. And out. Thank you.
Just taking one more breath. I hope you feel what I feel, which is we cannot let the shadow catch survivors. We have to be here. I'm so grateful that, Keith, you have found a space for sharing your story and your voice, and for inspiring other men, particularly Black and brown men, to come and be able to find their voice. I'm just grateful. And I'm grateful to every single person that supports NCVLI, because our entire mission is about ensuring that there's space for survivors' voices and they can choose when, how, if they want to share. So for many of you, that was really a heavy end moment, but it's why we do our work, because it's also inspiring. And I know Keith is here with us in the chat. So feel free to communicate directly with Keith. He couldn't be here in Portland with us other than in spirit, but he's here and he's inspiring, and we're so grateful. So we are nearing the end of our time together, and we're ending on a survivor voice, and we're ending with each of you deciding to make sure that the next survivor has space too. So Amanda, we're at the end of this part. I know there's a lot of champions out there in our community, so maybe we can say a few more of the folks who decided that they can step up and share the space.
Well, that was incredibly moving. And there were a lot of folks during that time with Keith that felt moved to share with NCVLI some really critical funding. Nicole Wilkes, Desiree Staffler, Caitlin Egek gives again. Thank you so much, Caitlin. Maria Verdun, Sarah LeClaire. Now, I have some really excellent news also. With Caitlin's match, we are only going to be $550 away from meeting our goal. We need these funds, folks, and we are so very close. Please continue to give. We need to see those funds come rolling in, and we are so very, very close. Please, you know, here's some ideas on how you can continue this great work. Send the shareable link of this recorded event. It's going to be coming to you. You are going to be able to share it with your friends, your family. Share it with your friends and family. Share it with somebody who knows NCVLI's work. Share it with someone who's interested in the cause of justice. That should be everybody. Share it out with folks. They can still give. You can still text to give at the number that we were talking about earlier. You can still bid on our auction items until Sunday, September the 26th at 11:30 p.m. And when you share that link with your friends, if you do it right away, which will take 5 minutes, they can bid too. So please share these ways that you can help NCVLI continue to help survivors. We really need you. Thank you so much for bringing me here tonight. I am so honored that I got to be here, that I got to hear these really powerful words, these stories of how NCVLI is helping these incredible folks who survive and thrive after the help that NCVLI gives them. I really love this organization. I hope to see all of you next year in person for Voices for Justice 2022. Meg?
So I just want to echo the thanks. You're all the voice for justice. There isn't a single person. It is each of us and every one of us. So if you haven't given, if you haven't shared, please do. We need to be here. We need to be here for survivors. So thank you. And with gratitude from all of the staff, we're going to pass along the gratitude from everyone else at the office.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.